Hey guys, so a couple of months ago Dehancer team reached out to me to see if I wanna make a review on their Film Emulation plugin, and I thought why not, especially since I started using it for about a year ago for Final Cut Pro. So today we're gonna take a look at Dehancer Pro Film Emulation plugin for Davinci Resolve. I'm gonna share with you how I've been using it, show you all pros and cons, all the features that it has, and how you can achieve different looks using this plugin. And we are also gonna find out, is it any good to just get and grab it, or is it better to stick around with Davinci Film Look Creator. And I want to mention that this is not a paid video, and I will make my conclusion based on my real life experience with this plugin. Everything that you saw in this intro was shot on Sony FX30 and graded with Dehancer Pro. So Dehancer makes your digital images looks like it was really shot on film, and it has around 60 different type of film you can choose from. So there are around 14 tools inside, and we are gonna take a look at all of them. So the first one is film profiles. There are tons of different film profiles like Kodak, Fujifilm, Konica, Polaroid, etc. It depends on what kind of look do you want to get. Me personally, I use Kodak Vision 350D and Kodak Vision 200T most of the time. I think they just have more natural film look in combination with Sony FX30 and S-Log 3. It is good to try them all and find the one that fits your style and purpose. It also had a push-pull slider which allows you to vary color contrast look within a selected film profile. Film Developer. Film Developer is a nice tool to play around with if you want to add some contrast and saturation. It will be more useful when you use Dehancer only in edit page and you don't want to mess around with different nodes in color page, cause you can quickly get the look you want and don't spend hours for color correction and grading. Film Compression. Film Compression had a great dynamic range in terms of highlights. It lets you fine-tune the redistribution of the highlights with such adjustments as impact, white point, tonal range, and color density. Expand. Expand tool provides a separate manual control for black and white points in relation to the output color space. Pretty straightforward, nothing fancy here. Print. Print film allows you to take your image and print on 5 different options. Print has its own tint, photo latitude, and contrast curve that makes it a useful creative tool. So it has options like linear, Sony film log, Fujifilm print, Kodak print film, and Kodak glossy paper. I personally prefer Fujifilm print film. You should try all of them and decide which one is right for you, or just disable if you want. Color head. Color head allows you to adjust colors with creative approach. I almost don't use it since color wheels and color bars are much more accurate. Film grain. Film grain in Dehancer is hands down the best feature, and in combination with halation, these are the top most used tools in Dehancer for getting that retro old school vibe or film look if you can say. They are just the cherry on top. Film grain is not just a typical grain or noise that you overlay on top of the image. Dehancer literally reconstruct the shot using the local color and brightness characteristics. Good job Dehancer. But it also heavy on your computer along with all those tools applied together, so keep that in mind. Film damage, film breath, and gate weave. So film damage is adding dust, scratches and little dirt, hair to your image. This is a nice addition to a film look. Film breath adding a color shift, and gate weave adding some kind of jitter to your image or the mechanical movement of the film. I would say these are pretty cool tools, but I don't find it using that much. Overscan. Overscan gives you an option to add film scan borders to your image. It has different aspect ratios, types, shapes, modes, and also some adjustments like scale, zoom and defocus. This one is also a great tool that you can add to your image for stylistic film type of effects. Vignette. Vignette adding a nice vignette to your image where you can adjust it as you like. And it also gives you an option to enable mask mode for ease of use and better understanding what kind of shape is displayed. I use it most of the time and it's nice to have it on. There is also a LUT generator where you can save your own LUT and options tab to change quality and add some new profiles. And that's it for all the Dehancer tools. Now let's break down an example to see how it works and how to use it in real life. So let's take a look at this clip which I shot on Sony FX30 with S-Log 3. If you are not familiar with log profiles, these are super flat and desaturated profiles, and it gives you the most flexibility when it comes to color grading. And if your camera has 10-bit 4:2 codec option, you should definitely switch to it for best results in post. I usually use 3 to 5 notes in my workflow depending on the shot. I'm not a professional colorist, so everything is pretty simple here. In this particular shot I would use 4 notes, so let's add 3 more notes and rename it. Right click on node, node label to rename your node. I'm gonna name it SH for shadows and highlights. Second node is basic colors. Third node is magic mask or qualifier. And fourth node is going to be a dehancer. So let's open the effects window, type dehancer and drag it onto your node. And you can see there are a lot of tabs, sliders, checkbox, etc. At first glance it feels like overkill, but it will get familiar to you over the time. First of all, you have to choose your camera in Input tab. Go to Vendor, choose your brand, model and format. And if you don't shoot in log profile, then you can just choose Rec 709 option. Next one is a film profile. Here you can pick your film stock. Let's choose Codec Vision 3 50D. You can play around with push-pull settings, but I'm not gonna touch it for now. Next one is Film Developer. You can color boost it or add some contrast. It's a nice tool to have. Next is Film Compression. This is like a highlight recovery tool. Look how it changes the contrast in your highlights. Pretty cool, right? Let's move on to Expand. Here you can adjust your black and whites of your image. Very simple and straightforward. Next one is Print. Let's see the difference in profiles. You have different options here, and for this shot I actually like Fujifilm 3513 print. And if you want to use this feature, make sure you buy a Dehancer Pro, because this one is available only in Pro version. Next step, we have a color head, where you can change colors of your midtones, highlight and shadows. Okay, next is Film Grain. I like to use 35 or 65mm because it is more subtle than 8mm, and you can still see it. Same concept with halation. Super 8mm will be very thick and visible, so I would choose 35 or 65mm. And by the way, if you choose custom, it opens all the settings for halation, which you can adjust to your liking. Same with bloom. I'm gonna choose 35mm and it gives that soft highlights look. Pretty awesome. In this example, I'm just gonna leave film breadth, gate weave and overscan disabled. Enable the vignette since we have this option. It's always nice to have vignette on. You can click on mask mode to see vignette mask, change size, aspect ratio, and then adjust exposure and feather to your liking. And that's it for the Dehancer node. But let me make some small adjustments in color node. I'm just gonna shift the gamma towards yellow just a little bit, and highlights in between cyan and green. And what you can also do if you have a studio version, add a magic mask to the next node. Select your object, choose mode to better, track it, and lift shadows just a little to make your subject pop. And here's before and after. And we are done with color grade. If you don't want to use the Dehancer in color tab, you can easily apply it in edit page. And do all the adjustments here from inspector window. Dehancer Online. By the way guys, did you know that you can get the film look to your photos using Dehancer Online? Let's take a quick look. Go to online.dehancer.com, just drag your photo, choose the film you want, change your contrast, exposure in Adjust panel, and then go to Effects panel to add some grain, halation, bloom and vignette. So simple and easy to use. And here's before and after. If you have some photos that you want to add a film look to, definitely check Dehancer Online. So the question is it worth buying a Dehancer Pro version where you have all the features included, or maybe you can just use a film look creator in Davinci Resolve, for example? Well, I tried to replicate the same look from Dehancer on this shot, just using the color adjustments in Color tab, Qualifier, Magic Mask and Film Look Creator. I am just an average user in terms of color grading, and who knows, maybe you can easily get the same look as Dehancer does. What I know for sure is that you're not gonna get the same film grain, because it generates grain every single frame. Yes, it's heavy on your computer, but it looks better than the native film grain in Davinci Resolve. Now let's discuss pros and cons. The biggest pro for me is that film look that's hard to achieve with any other plugins, presets or LUTs. A lot of camera options including drones and iPhone. Versatility. There are so many film profiles, and in combination with prints you can get almost any film look you want. Film grain and bloom is just so good. Cons. It is kind of heavy and can easily slow down your computer. A lack of customization. I would love to create my favorite film looks at the top and easily just choose the one that I use the most. And also it would be great by dragging the steps, create your own personal layout, which you cannot unfortunately. And I would say the price, especially for the Pro version. But on the other hand, the options of film stocks, profiles and effects gives you almost endless possibilities to get the film look you want. So this is how I color grade my footage with Dehancer Pro. And I think it's a great film emulation plugin and it has a great value with bloom, halation, film grain and compression. So if you think it's a great choice for you and you would like to try it, use my discount code ARTSTUDIO for 10% off at the checkout. I hope that you enjoyed this video and learned something new about film emulation and Dehancer Pro. Feel free to hit that subscribe button to see more reviews like this and also cool tutorials for Davinci Resolve that I post every Wednesday. Thanks a lot and see you in the next one.